Hey Bucky, this kid from the Magi 13 Sports SKYBOX dreams out here.
Man, I'm excited that you reached out.
I've been busy.
I was hearing a lot of good stuff about what you're doing over there at Magi 13 Sports, Skybox,
I
Dreams.
appreciate that. I was wondering if by any chance we can set up an exclusive interview with Shedeur.
Shedeur will love to have an exclusive interview with give him a call right now. He ain't doing nothing but sitting by the pool on his phone.
Cool, I'm gonna give him a call right now.
Grand Rising, this beautiful day. How are things going in Shedeur Sanders?
Everything is great. My dad's health is good. And I'm out here chilling with him and Bucky right now, just lounging by the pool.
I was wondering if we can get together for an exclusive interview here at the Magi 13 Sports. Skybox Dream Studios, I already talked to Bucky and he said you would probably agree to the interview. So I sent my private helicopter. You should already be there or on the way.
That sounds legendary. I would love to swing by for the exclusive interview. I'm going to give you one nobody knows, but the family, everyone in the family calls me primetime too.
Hey Shedeur, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. It means to me and Magi 13 Sports Skybox Dreams, and yeah, we just getting started.
Legendary since birth, chains on my neck, first breath. Stepped on the earth, heavy crown, no rest. Mama told me shine, daddy said grind. Now I'm prime time, clock hands rewind. Collisions in the cosmos, God said I got you. Truth carved in stone, every verse like a haiku. Kicking it with the Magi, wisdom in the circle. From the mud to the marble, life is universal. Prime time too, got love for my crew. See them as my equals, my people shining too. Prime time too, every step breaking through. Legends since the cradle, we the newest, that's the truth. Chains jangling, soundtracks to my footsteps. Every move a chess play, calculated, no regrets. Enemies collide, but my spirit stay unbent. God's pen wrote my name in stars, heaven sent. The lion in the jungle, roar shakes the trees. Legacy in my veins, running deeper than the seas. Game unlocked, no key, just to grind and believe. Turning doubters into fans, let the scoreboard speak. Prime time too, got love for my crew. See them as my equals, my people shining too. Prime time too, every step breaking through. Legends since the cradle, we the newest, that's the truth. Young lion in the jungle, roar shakes the trees. Legacy in my veins, running deeper than the seas. Game unlocked, no key, just to grind and believe. Turning doubters into fans, let the scoreboard speak. Prime time too, got love for my crew. See them as my equals, my people shining too. Prime time too, every step breaking through. Legends since the cradle, we the newest, that's the truth.
First off, I appreciate you having me as your first exclusive interview. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Magi 13, Sport, Skybox, Dreams, And second, man, that ride over was the real dope. We gon' talk after the show. I want to get one of those helicopters because I was thinking about a private jet. And Pop said you should have at least 25 million annually to even justify having one.
You know, Pops knows his numbers. I also have a private jet and my kids are somewhere over the rainbow, taking advantage of Dad's resources. See, let's get into it. Ever since the draft, you've been pretty much quiet and focused on making the Cleveland Browns team roster. And if I can ask you in one word, how did that day of the draft make you feel, knowing you're better than every quarterback in the draft? No disrespect to Cam Ward, but if you can just give us one word.
Disrespected.
I can see why. In the rest of the football world, we had to witness some real-time power trip of the owners showing their togetherness to inflict harm on a kid who has done nothing wrong in society. I didn't like what happened, and believe me, there's more people, 250 million and more, who feels the same way, and you handled the situation perfectly and still continue to. How did you keep your cool?
My faith doesn't lie in man. I put my trust and faith in God. There are some things you can't control. I knew I had to leave it up to God.
Flipped around, pick 144. The Cleveland Browns traded up to pick you after they grabbed Dillian. Gabrielle, 3rd round, 94. Overall, some people think that the Cleveland Browns don't know what they're doing. Do you feel like you're in a good situation where you will have a fair shot at the number 1 quarterback position?
The way I was treated coming into the league, I would have to say that sometimes life isn't fair, but don't let that stop you from being the best version of yourself. So what's fair to one person may be unfair to another.
Unfair it was, and it seems like no one knows the real Shedeur Sanders. But the people, your fan base may be bigger than some. Franchise's fans base, you are loved by the community in Cleveland. Day one, upon your arrival, you've been in the community giving back to the schools, football camps, and helping the community through apartment complex burned in fire. Over 100 people lost everything but the clothes on there. That's their story.
Hey guys, we are here at the Rainbow Terrace Apartments where the Garden Valley Fun Fest is taking place. Now on June 23rd, an explosion and fire broke out here. It displaced over 40 families and took the life of one man, hospitalized others. But through that tragedy, the community is coming together, as you can see right now, for this event with the help of Browns rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. He is right there. Now Sanders took to Instagram and made sure that people knew that this event was happening. He wanted the community to come out. This event is all about fun. There's music, there's food, there's games. It's all about communities coming together. Sanders said it was important to him to not only help these families that are in need, but to show their time, give his time, and get out here and touch the community, which is something the community itself appreciates.
Everybody know about the situation, everything that happened here, and I was out of town when it happened, so I was able to put things together, structure things the best we could in the small amount of time we had, to make sure everybody's accommodated. It's bigger than football, you know, like it's bigger than football out here.
We got to continue to come together and continue to love on each other and put our resources together so we can heal the community. And having a relationship and having a relationship with Shedeur Sanders where you now know that he's in your community, understand what's going on in your community. He's been there. It's different. It's so.
When everything transpired, I was out of town. So I was like, nah, the first thing I do when I get back, definitely come to the community. I could tell everybody's vibe out here is down to earth. So a lot of people that didn't want me coming out here doing it, but I don't understand why. You know, God told me to come out here, so I'm never going to question his word. It's definitely just get active and actually do it. You know, sending money and stuff, that's easy, but you have to actually go out there and be in the the flesh. You know, I feel like that's more impactful.
I love my kids, and when it comes to Shedeur, this is nothing new. We've seen this at our home every summer, and it is what it is. Shedeur loves the people in the community, and being that his dad couldn't be here with everything going on, I wanted to be by his side and show by support. Nobody wanted him to do this, and I knew he would no matter what. They say the rejected will be respected. We love you, Cleveland.
The whole community was crying, and now we are mourning the loss of Cordell Sheffield, who was a hero who went in and saved 2 of his stepchildren from burning in the fire.
This is great for the community and to give back to the families who were affected in the fire. And if you would just look around and see the smiles on the kids' faces that Shedeur showed up, it's amazing.
Wow. And there you have it. Shedeur, Sanders, the people's champ, giving back to the community that looks like him. The residents there said that they never seen nothing like that before, and especially from a Cleveland Browns player, because they never make it to the hood, but you made it there just fine.
The people were in need after the tragedy of the fire, and God placed it on my heart to come and meet the people in the community and actually be their hands-on and talk to them and see how they were doing after such a tragedy, because this is bigger than football. All the smiles on the kids' faces is enough for me. I just love letting them know that they can dream and achieve anything that they put their minds to.
I don't see how anyone could hate you. They must hate themselves, because I have followed your football career since little, the league. So I know that it's a humbling situation. You're still having to work your way up the depth chart and prove you're not a 5th round pick, because we all know you should have won number 2 pick overall in the 1st round, and guess who else felt the same way?
I'm going to make a trade. I'm taking Shedeur at number 2. I'm going to do the obvious right thing there. I'm going to take Shedeur, and I'm going to roll with it and see how it goes. But then I'm trading back into the end of the 1st round with my 2nd round pick and some other things, and I'm taking Tyler Shuck. I'm taking 2 quarterbacks in the 1st round. If Shedeur, for whatever reason, isn't exactly what you thought he was going to be, then you have someone else that you can develop and try there. He's getting so much buzz and so much run lately, and I watched him at the Senior Bowl. I'm totally intrigued by him. In my mind, that's a win-win situation. You cannot lose by doing this. You cannot lose. You get the guy that everybody thinks should go at number 2, and then you get the it guy. And if you find yourself with 2 amazing quarterbacks, then trade one of them at some point. Develop and trade. What else do you need so badly in the 1st round, or with that number 33 pick, that you cannot do this? I think it's disgusting. I don't understand what's actually going on with this. 5th player on my board. It's never happened before. It's 47 years where a player that high has dropped this far into the 4th round. A quarterback that's sitting there in round 4 with other quarterbacks being taken weren't as good as Shedeur, aren't even close, in my opinion. In terms of accuracy, confidence, Wormshots is certainly more than good enough. I don't see, outside of not being the have a rocket arm, the 016, a big 3, the 6'3", 230-pound thing, where does he lack? Someone's going to have to explain that with the debate. 4th round, Kirk Cousins went. 4th round, Dak Prescott went. Worked out pretty good for them. It's just that Shedeur's projectable outlier they were. That's why we're having this discussion. The best way to put it, Ryan, is I'm stunned. I'm absolutely floored that Shedeur Sanders is still sitting here on the board. And if you think about it, I think it's more so to do with what's happening off of the field now. As far as those questions, I don't know exactly what they're at. But if we're just grading the player on the field, I don't see a player that should have made it out of the 2nd round. I had him ranked as my number 19 overall player. He can help a team win football games as a starter. And some of the quarterbacks that went ahead of him, I was floored by some of the names that went ahead of him. I get it. Jackson Dart and him was seen as in a similar tier as going as the second, the third quarterback off of the board. But after that, some of the quarterbacks that went ahead of him, I'm still shocked. I am absolutely stunned. Here was a player that started 37 games, led the nation in completion percent. He's also incredibly tough. He was sacked 94 times over 2 seasons and only missed 1 game. He was my second cornerback on the board, very similar to Mel. I thought he was a first-round pick that could come in and start right away. There's an anticipation and accuracy. I cannot believe that a team and a first stringer of 102 players were drafted and didn't draft Shedeur Sanders. All right, one of the things you have to understand is the NFL is the ultimate meritocracy. Every team has a certain amount of money. Every team has a certain amount of draft choices. And not one team thought that Shedeur Sanders could help them win when 5 quarterbacks have already got. I was part of the Miami Dolphins in 2016, and we drafted Larry Tunsil. He was the number 1 guy on our board. Larry Tunsil was a great player, a great person. He obviously hit a bulk in the room, and we saw it as an unexpected opportunity. Johnny Manziel came out, a lot of questions about his background. He won the first round. The fact that we're sitting here talking about the 4th round is unbelievable what has happened, given the fact that Sanders doesn't have the kind of bones that you're mentioning with the 2 previous guys.
Well, I really love Shedeur Sanders. I tried to be loyal to, like you said, August, and what I thought throughout their careers. And I understand if you want to in somebody who looks the part, I call them LTPers. That's what they are. They're LTPers. There's a couple other guys at that position that are more physically gifted, okay? When I talk about arm strength, when I talk about just imposing size, the rocket arm, the 4.6 speed. There are other quarterbacks that had that, Dan. If you want that, take those guys. If you want a kid who can just surgically take a team down the field, pick you apart, see things, recognize things, diagnose, make decisions that are sound, also get the ball to accurate points and precise points to a receiver, and hang in tough at that pocket, take hits, and keep getting up. Don't point fingers. Don't assign blame. Win football games. He didn't have a running game for 2 years at Colorado, Dan. His leading rusher upset him for the last month. His leading rusher the last 2 years. The 2 top early backs in this draft, Ginty and Hampton, would add more yards than a game and a half at the end of the year. Tell you about that. And outside the line, you saw that offensive line. It was a bad group in 2023. A little bit better in 24, but bottom line is he had no chance. And a lot of their snaps, he had no shot. So I give him a lot of credit, Dan, but if he's not the guy that you want physically, and you can't reconcile taking a guy that high, I get it. But does that not mean that, hey, in the mid-late first round, he can't be a heck of a bit? And all this notion too, Dan. Well, if you love them or you like them, whatever. If you just like them, you can't take them. Well, I give you an example. In 1984, Dan, my first year at ESPN, I had Gloomer Esiason in the 3rd highest rated player on my board. Right now, Shedeur's at 5, by the way. Okay? So say Shedeur goes in the late first, and he was a second. What an idiot Kuiper is, right? Yeah, Shedeur. Well, guess what? Boomer was 3. Pendles had 3 picks in the first round. And I'm sitting there first year at ESPN. You know what's going through my head? I'm 1 and done. I'm sitting there with Chris Berman, Uber, and Bob Lee, and thinking, I'm not going to be mad at any guy, right? But they're the highest rated players here. And the Bengals passed them 3 times, Dan, and 2 of those 3 were busts. They took him in the 2nd round. Now, according to that philosophy, if you didn't like him enough to take him with your first 3 picks in arc, why you take him in the 2nd round? He's going to be your quarterback. It's going to be the guy, will be the first, 2nd round, or he's your guy moving forward. You didn't even like him enough to take ahead of Rasheed Hundley, Pete Koch, and Brian Blados. Okay? So again, I don't buy in any of that nonsense. Brett Favre was a highly rated player in the 2nd round, right? Look what happened with him. Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be number 1, 3 receivers for the draft, to slip to 24. The 6 of the 8 sliding pixel in terms of my rankings over the last, since 1970, Dan. I went all the way back to 1970. 6 of the 8 hit. 6 of the 8 sliding quarterbacks hit. So maybe Shedeur will be one of the 6 that does really well.
To have confidence, okay? He has a resume that validates and backs up his confidence. And so I'm getting angry because young black man, highly successful, highly accomplished, an incomparable, impeccable pedigree, is entering the NFL, is considered easily one of the top 2 quarterbacks entering the NFL draft. We hear about his lack of mobility, lack of arm strength, whether or not he could make the requisite throw. Oh no, we're airing about his attitude. I'm in trouble. Ever found yourself in any kind of trouble? Is there anything that is besmirched or stained his resume, his name in any way? The closest thing this brother has come to a crime is when Colorado State was talking smack to him, and he was interested in the quarterback's hand and said, I heard what you said, I heard what you said. Or when a coach was talking about prime time as daddy, and he would have been feeling like this with the watch and all. That's about it. He's done nothing wrong. So why are we having this conversation about his character? I'm going to tell you why. Because you got people hating on this daddy. And they want any excuse that they can come up with. And let me remind America why Deion Sanders. We gonna say this. This is why Deion Sanders is hated. Because he was the greatest. And he told you so. And then went out there and showed you so. And you were helpless to do anything about it. And then when he talked about it, not only could you not play better than him, you couldn't talk better than him, you couldn't articulate their thoughts better than him, you didn't have that swag, that flavor about you, that vibe about you, you couldn't resonate with an audience and gravitate them towards you the way that he could, and Deion knew it, and you hated him for it. And so since you couldn't touch him, now you're trying to touch his son. And the key thing to note, I thought today, was the fact that Dillon Gabriel went first in those team drills and those 7-on-7s. We knew that was going to happen because, of course, they drafted him ahead of Shedeur, where they passed over 6 times in this draft. So basically what's going to happen here is that Shedeur is going to have to keep climbing up that depth chart if he actually wants to get into the starting lineup at some point. And when the veterans are joined on Monday, when they have to get out there with Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, of course, it's going to become even harder for these young guys. I actually think at that point, the depth chart, the imaginary depth chart, will be Kenny Pickett, then Dillon Gabriel, then Joe Flacco, and then Shedeur. So Shedeur has his work cut out for him, but he's got a great work ethic. He worked really hard today. He took good coaching, and I thought he made some progress.
I had to do that small piece for those who don't know where you're projected to go in the draft before wherever they claim. That happened. Order was an issue. This was out the mouth, so the professional analysis and reporters in the league just bringing forth what they said before the collusion and after the collusion. If I was a quarterback drafted before you, and I knew I was not better than you, and I realized what the league has done to you, for no reason I would have to question my integrity and the organization that picked me out of spite integrity
I just
too.
let them talk, and I just keep receipts, because sooner or later they will want to ride with me. Things get going. I know what I am up against. My dad is an NFL Hall of Fame legend, and with that, should name one NFL Hall of Fame legend kids that had to endure what I and my brother had to endure. The disrespect will never be forgotten. But I truly have moved on from it because my focus is playing on Sundays.
First of all, I'd like to publicly apologize to Shedeur and the Sanders family for what occurred. Second of all, I want to publicly apologize to Mr. Blaine, to Rafano, Ray Morris, and the entire Falcons organization. My actions have not protected confidential data. Were inexcusable. Our son's actions were absolutely inexcusable. And for that, we are both deeply sorry. The NFL has taken action, and I fully respect the punishment. We take full responsibility, our son and myself, and we will not be appealing the fine in any way. Going forward, I promise my son and I will work hard to demonstrate we are better than this. Again, I'm deeply sorry for our actions. Yeah, obviously not happy and shocked. So I made the Falcons aware of the situation, and then our next course of action was to try to get a hold of the Sanders family so we could apologize in person, which we were able to do. And the Sanders family, Shedeur, and Coach Sanders were amazingly gracious, more gracious than they needed to be at a moment like this.
2 nights before pro day, I get bad dreams. So that's how I know, like, the devil was trying to work on me. So then, the first night I have horrible dreams, bad dreams. I wake up hard for me to go back to sleep, and I'm like, why all of a sudden I'm having a bad dream 2 days before pro day? Like, why? Out of all days, why now? You feel me? So that's like kind of how I understand, eating with dad, and anytime greatness and all that stuff is about to happen and all that stuff, then you see the devil try to like play his games, and try to distract your mind, get you off, throw you different curveballs in life and all this different type of stuff. So night before pro day, same thing, get another bad dream. But I was prepared because I just went through it the night before. Then I'm just thinking like, why? It just don't make sense. Like, how am I continuously getting bad dreams back to back? And life been the same every day. And one of the most important days of my life. Isn't that wild, bro? So I think the one before pro day was, I was dropping back and it just felt like the ground was like marble. And I got on cleats, so like I'm slipping, fall, you know what I mean? Like doing my drop back, slipping and all that. Then, like, we just take a break, kind of like how we took a break and we walked down to the other end for like rest or anything. It was like similar to that. We took a break. We walked down, then it was just like 2 people walked towards me like super, super, super fast. And like I couldn't like say nothing, I couldn't run, I couldn't do anything, you feel me? And it just attacked me. To like, when next day I get on the field, I grip that turf a little bit hard. I said, I'm in shock down to get grip on it because the night before my dream was just so, it felt so real. It felt so real. I prayed, I prayed through those times. And I understood what was happening because that would always happen to Dad. So some days back happening, boom, that's when he had the blood clots and stuff, and that's when he got his toes taken and all that type of stuff. They took him off, and they took him off because the owner said take him off. I don't want that guy. Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed himself. His attitude off the field at the combine, his dad didn't help him either. He's on podcasts talking about, this is my son, if I can get him to where I want to get him to, I'm going to do that. But, when you listen to this kid talk prior or at the combine that you want a new culture in your locker room, I'm the guy to do that, I can turn it around. I mean, he's very high on himself. And I think he was very off-putting to many, many coaches and general managers in the league. And I'm telling you right now, and I know this after talking to 3 different personnel people in the NFL this weekend, they didn't even have him on their board. They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this entitled person on our team. And I don't blame him.
Wow. There you have it, straight from Boomer. The NFL owners made the call, and that sort of led to the fall and the prank call. But the real question here is why? Why would they do this to Shedeur Sanders? Great kid who has done nothing wrong in society besides dragging a little fast and furious, and anyone who complain about that, to take a jab at your character and judgments is flat out.
I agree. It's been fun, and I enjoyed myself so much. I hope you bring me back soon. If by chance you can't get in touch with me, call Bucky and he will set it up again. Since this, your first exclusive interview, I will take us out. This is Shedeur Sanders with host P coming straight from the Magi 13 Sports SKYBOX streams. And yeah, we just getting started.